worldwide. 7,000 plus innovative business strategies and consultations, generating over $4 billion in sales. A top-selling author of over 20 books and the co-author of 4 books, including a best-selling book with Barbara Corcoran from the hit TV show Shark Tank. Mike Driggers is the world's leading authority marketing agent and one of the most in-demand speakers, leading business advisors, and master breakthrough strategists. Mike is the ambassador and founder of Instant Authority Now and is a celebrity radio host for In the Now with Brandon Hines on Money Talk 105.5 FM, Sacramento, California. As a top business advisor, leader, and speaker, Mike has been featured and appeared worldwide in numerous publications and media, including ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, PBS, USA Today, Business Journal, The Wall Street Journal, and The Brian Tracy Show, along with other affiliated stations. Based upon his success as a business leader, Mike was awarded Entrepreneur of the Year for his local area by President Bush. He has shared the stage with top achievers and business icons like ABC's secret millionaire James Malinchak, award-winning television host Lisa Gibbons, the NFL World Champion legend Joe Theismann, the co-founder of Priceline.com, Jeff Hoffman, the $2 billion TV sales spokeswoman Forbes Riley, Los Angeles Clippers Vice President of Basketball Operations and Assistant Coach Kevin Eastman, the inventor of the infomercial and founder of As Seen on TV and original shark on the hit TV show Shark Tank, Kevin Harrington, the world's leading motivational speaker Les Brown, star of the blockbuster movie The Secret, John Assaraf, Chicken Soup of the Soul series creator Jack Canfield, best-selling author of 70 books and personal development legend Brian Tracy.
Hello, I'm Brian Tracy. I'm here with my friend Mike Driggers. We've just been having a great time doing the interview, and Mike's one of the best people in the field, especially if you want to be very distinctive in your marketing and your position.
Mike has coached and advised hundreds of businesses and continues to communicate, advise, and innovate with who's in the field of sports, business, entertainment, and politics. Mike creates massive success for others as he inspires, motivates, and empowers people worldwide, and is committed to developing people who are on the pursuit of excellence and success. Mike is ready to help you create amazing results quickly within your business and or career.
Hey, this is James Malinchak, featured on ABC's hit TV show Secret Millionaire. And I've done 3,000 presentations, but in addition to that, I have actually put on my own events. So when you're looking for a speaker, I know what it takes to look for a wonderful speaker. You want someone who's reliable, you want someone who will give your audience great information, and you want somebody who will make you look good as an event coordinator. That's what I look for. That's probably what you look for. If that's what you want, then you've got to work with my friend Mike Driggers. Let me tell you something. Mike comes from the heart. He wants to make a difference in people's lives, but he also understands he's working for you, and he wants to make sure that you have the greatest event for your people possible. Do yourself a huge favor. Call Mike. Work with him today. You'll be so grateful you did.
Mike is your in-demand speaker and innovative leading business strategist. Let's give Mike a warm welcome.
Y'all ready for this?
Boy, I tell you what, man. Looky there. Welcome, Mr. Mike Driggers. How you doing, my friend?
What is up, Captain Liam? What's going on?
Man, I tell you what, people, since we've taken over this group, we've had so many great, exciting people on here. We got many more to come, and to have you on, one of the most powerful, not only speakers, but innovators in this business is exciting. And I'm so glad to have you. We don't have a lot of time. We got about a half hour tonight, but I did tell you that we'll let everybody leave that's got to leave, but we're gonna go a little extra tonight just for that. But Mike, it's incredible to have you here.
We've got a lot of jam-packed information, and I'm super excited and honored to be here with you.
Well,
and to be able to share with your people.
Well, I can't wait. In 3 weeks, I'm going to have you, hopefully sooner than that, but we just finished our first book with you guys. It's almost done, The Closer's Edge, and that's going to be coming out, and I would be honored if when that comes out that you come back on the show and tell them how we're going to do that. But tonight, we're going to give this show to you, and we're going to ask you some pretty cool questions. I'm going to let people have a real quick commercial on what's coming up. Some big, nice, exciting things. Last week we had a part 1 of the series. I think you watched it. You were out of town, and I hope I did you justice.
You did an amazing job. Thank you.
And we wanted to make sure that we got to bring you on today, so we're glad to have you. Next week we've got one of our guys coming on. Phil Graham is coming on next week. He's attached to I think he's got Dave McKnight and those guys are with him, and he's got Tommy Higna's with him, and those guys, they're all bunched together. And then on the 5th of March, we got Tommy Higna coming on. He's going to be on with us. And then I'm going to be with Tom Higna. I'm going to be with Harry Dent. I'm going to be with David McKnight. And I'm going to be one of the 10, what is it? I got my paperwork here. I'm going to be one of the 10 mastermind guys, Michael, in San Juan, Puerto Rico. And I'm going to be with Tommy Higna and Jeremiah Damaris. So I'm looking forward to that. I know that you just found out about it, and you were like, daggone it, I'd like to have been to that myself, but I know you got another arrangement, but next time around. But the Mastermind series are pretty cool. I know those are pretty neat. And again, for me to be a part of that group down in San Juan is going to be awesome. I'm also going to stay an extra 5 days because if you're going to go down there, you might as well enjoy it, and taking my wife with me. So we're going to have a lot of fun. So let's get to it, Mike.
And create a tax write-off.
There you go. That's my 4th book, by the way. But anyway, I'm excited to have you. I want to start out with we're going to ask you a couple questions and kind of get you started. And then let me do this first. I'm going to let you, if you want to say something before I start the question, maybe a big hello. I know the video was good enough, but I'll give you a couple quick seconds and then we'll go right into questions.
Well, again, I'm just honored to be here and excited to share my knowledge, which is what I do and do best for helping other thought leaders like yourself, and to be on your show. What an amazing honor. You're a great host, great interviewer. I've already seen a lot of your shows and been working with you behind the scenes in my program. And you're just killing it in what we're doing. And I'm excited to get you out on market and really bring to the world your information, your wisdom. And the timing's right? So the timing's now. So I'm excited, and thank you for having me here.
Well, and I know the last thing I want to finish with, I know you'll do that later tonight too, but I know you're going to endorse the Babe Ruth bucket system. I know that. I know you told me the other day, $97 a month for what you do. Gee, many Christmas. They get you on retainer. They get all these great shows, and I know you love what we're doing with that. I appreciate you being behind us on that as well. So here we're going to start out. I'm going to ask you a question. Now, when we're defining the authorities, in the financial services, in your experience, what does it mean to be an authority in the financial services industry? In other words, if professionals in the field, when they're trying to establish themselves as leaders, what exactly does that mean to you in your perspective?
Yeah, and that's a great question. I'm glad that you asked that. And a lot of my coaching clients, they ask this same question, and is what is authority? Because it's a lot of time people think authority is about fame factor. And fame factor is just a portion about that, right? Authority is having a foundation of tribe, people that follow you. And when you really look at the word and understand what authority is, the first part of the word is author. So it's about authoring content and books and things of that nature to position you as the go-to authority in your niche. And when you really step back from that, what makes up an authority? Well, there's 3 types of ways to be an expert that creates that foundation as an authority or a thought leader in the market. The first one is you live something, you experience it, now you teach it. The second is you research it, then you go out and teach it. Then the third and this is like your college professors, by the way. Those are, most college professors that teach something, they've never owned a business or done anything. They've researched and they teach, which is okay. The third type is standing on the shoulders of giants. And this is exactly what you do. And being part of my program, you're bringing me in, standing on the shoulders of giants. My audience that follows me will now follow you, and vice versa. We both are doing, and I teach all three things. And it's important to understand that. And the standing on shoulders, another example is like Larry King, Oprah, Dr. Oz, Dr. Phil. What do? They had some expertise, and they bring in all these other experts. And by doing that, makes them an expert. And when you're running all three of this, you're at full capacity of being that authority and laying the foundation to attract, becoming a magnet, and stand out from your market.
Well, and I think one of the biggest things with when you were teaching me that, and like I said, and I've been doing this for 30 years, you've been doing it for a long time, and I think the best thing that we would agree, if you're not coachable, you're not going to go anywhere. I remember listening to a guy one time, he was 106 years old, and they said, you probably learned it all. He said, I haven't even begun to learn. And
yeah.
I think one of the things about what you're teaching me, and I think you would agree, we teach each other,
Yep.
and
Yep.
I think that what we're trying to do for the agents on here, and the reason why I think we have such great viewership is, and it's nothing against FMOs and IMOs, but we're real, we're legit. There's no hidden agenda. We're not trying to get you to move your business. We're trying to get you to scale. Yes.
Yes.
And part of what we talk about, and I'm going to get to the next question here, is that one of the great things about the books, and I'm sure you maybe I'm jumping ahead, is that it almost becomes like a business card. Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and going back to the word author, right? There was an executive for Google, Jim Lewizinski, I think's his name. His last name I always have trouble with, but I know his first name's Jim, and he was a Google executive, and he talked about Zmont in marketing today. It is so critical. And what that means is, back in the days, we used to watch, like in our heritage, our families, our grandparents, they used to watch or listen to radio. They hear an ad. That was considered the first moment of truth. And then they would run to a store, go talk to the salesperson, and then they would want to decide at that point, do I like the salesperson, which is a buying trigger. But the other part was, okay, I bought it, I take it home. Now that became the second moment of truth. Do I like what I just purchased? And if you did, you would tell a couple of people. If you didn't, you told some. But in today's world, there's a zero moment of truth. When somebody hears about something, the very first thing they do is what? Research. They go and research. When you were coming and learning about my program, what did you do? You went out and researched. You told me this, which I knew exactly, because that's what I've.
Well, Mike, let me stop you. That's actually flattering, yes, because when Tom Higdon talked to me, and Tom Higdon is way up here, and I'm trying, and I get it. He's one of the giants, and Tommy said to me, he said, "Listen, I looked at your stuff. I went and watched your videos." He said, "Man, you're pretty impressive," and that's flattering, right? But it also says a lot about you as an individual, yes.
Yes, but it also, if you understand that, and now you have the zero moment of truth before it gets to the first moment and the second, and I'll talk about buying triggers in a minute, but the first moment of the truth, they're doing research in the zero moment. So how do you position yourself as authority? Well, feed the zero moment of truth with value. And I have this program or this framework called the Authority Framework, which is what I'll teach. And I'll kind of go into that in a minute. But you've got to understand, to position as authority, you've got to feed that zero moment of truth.
Well, and that rolls me into my next question. When we're building strategies of authority, right?
Right.
Can you share some effective strategies for a professional, a financial professional that's watching tonight, that's looking to build or enhance his authority in this industry, right? To scale, maybe, right? How does these strategies differ online versus offline contacts?
Well, see, and that's what people don't realize. Your offline is your online, and your online is your offline. And so what happens is there's this blend of authority position, and you take advantage of all aspects. Now, that's a huge training, which I'm going to kind of go over real quick. So if you've got a pen and pencil, get ready to write it down, because there's 5 stages to putting your authority fingerprint on your niche. And the very first one is unveiling your brilliance. This is where you clarify your expertise. What are you an expert at? What are your skills? Do you specialize in IULs? Do you do annuities? What is it that you are an expert in and passionate about, that for the next 10 years, you're going to wake up eating, drinking, and sleeping this expertise? Then you got to define your audience. A lot of people do not spend time on this, which is critical. Why do companies spend millions and millions of dollars on focus groups or surveys? Because they want to know your audience before they want to know the audience better than themselves. You want to know your audience before you market. Great example, AOL, when it launched back in the day. I know this is for some of you that are younger. You were like, what? AOL, who's that, right? But then some of you may know, but the principle of this is what you're going to catch. When they released to get people on the internet, they sat down and said, okay, how are we going to target? Who's our ideal client? What they found was their ideal client was the stay-at-home moms. Is the real person, because the computers were out. We're going to show them how to get connected. But when they did their marketing, they used to send out these discs. And some of you that are older will remember this. They sent out these discs that had, at the time, the same colors as Tide, because Tide was the #1 soap for washing clothes. And so when they sent these discs out, it had the similar colors that then created a warm, comfortable feeling emotionally. And because of that, then they had step 1, 2, 3, and you were on the internet, and that's how AOL was able to explode. So defining your audience, crafting your brand story. This is important. What is your story? You've got to talk. And if you don't have a story, borrow somebody's story that you know or have heard to tell the story of who you are as an expert. Then that's where you start to identify your unique point of view on things. This is where you work and train and teach your valuable perspective. Second stage is the magnetic visibility. This is where you're creating content. And part of that is where you create value. Like I put out a ton of content of value. Then it opens up and I'm targeting the ZMON. Then people search. They start to build like and trust and knowledge from me. They start to be attracted to me. And because of that, I'm able to show them what I'm able to do and how I can help them. The second part is thought leadership. And this is basically your insights, your perspectives. So you want to do, as far as content, you want to do public speaking, blogging, podcast interviews, things like this, that you have an opportunity, putting out that content of education. Today is all about transparency, and it's all about educating. Next is engage your community. That's part of it, right? That's where you get in and you work and talk and create forums and online, just like Liam's done an amazing job with this Facebook community, right? And he's been able to capitalize on it and take it to the whole next level with what he does. Stage 3 is authority domination, right? This is ongoing education, because what happens is you've got to fill your pond, I call it. Position, make an offer, nurture, and deliver. But you've got to fill this pond with hungry guppies. And what happens is the more they consume your content, the hungrier they get. So you've got to keep providing that value and that education to help people and put that information out. This is where your thought leadership content, which is the next part, it comes into creating high value, high demand, because they're hungry and they start telling, this viralness starts happening. Hey, did you watch this video? You should watch this video. And then wrapped around that, your professional branding. You need to step out of whoever you brand with and become your own brand. You want to stand out. Everybody's doing the same thing you are. How can you be different? Step out.
We talked about that earlier today, about one of the benefits with having the Baby Bucket system is we have an established brand with the exception to the rule, 2 different brands that you can still you know, you don't have to come up with some fancy name. We already got them, but you can then put like what one of our guys, Aldo. I talk about Aldo. He's a good guy with us, and he does special needs stuff, right? So he wanted to use the Babe Ruth bucket brand, so he didn't have to. I mean, how do you do a brand about a special needs? I said, well, you don't have to. Just use the Babe Ruth bucket system. So what he did was he said the Babe Ruth bucket misintruse of special needs planning, right? And so that works for him, right? And then
absolutely.
So what you're talking about is not only sometimes is it hard to find that niche, right? But then how do I get a brand? Now, if you've already got two brands that are sitting there and all you got to do is plug and play, makes it even easier. Yes.
Exactly. And you leverage the brand. So this is part of the stages where I go into this about being on other people's stages, which is stage 5. Stage 4 is relational empowerment. And I know, look, guys, I've got a lot of content that can fill this, and I want to be cautious of time, but stage 4 is about that relationships. This is where the authenticity comes in, authentic engagement. This is so important to building a community, is being authentic, being your true self. Don't worry about being polished. Don't be, I got pugs that run around here barking, screaming, snorting, all this other stuff in my coaching. Look at what COVID did with the media and how they were doing stuff, and cats were walking by. As that authenticity came out, and more that's happening in your authority position. Be real, be you. Don't try to be something different, right? And this goes part of that. The next stage is the fame factor. This is where your media presence. How do you get into the media? There's a ton of opportunities where you can prime the pump. There's pay to play. There's other ways to get into the media. It starts with social media. Then it branches out from there, from online magazines to news clips to ongoing podcasts, everything. But one of the things you want to have is a compelling story. And you want to master the art of storytelling for sure, and capitalize on speaking engagements and the expert collaboration, just like Liam was mentioning, where you take advantage of other brands. When I did a co-author book with Barbara Corcoran, I was establishing and taking advantage of another brand to help establish my authority. And since then, I've gone on to do other things with other folks. But those are the 5 stages that somebody really has to think about when positioning themselves as the go-to authority in their niche.
Well, and you touched on something, and I know it's one of the questions I wanted to get to, talking about challenges and overcoming them, right? What I want to talk about too is some of the biggest challenges in the financial services. You touched on it a little bit when you're trying to position yourself as an authority or a niche. A lot of times you have to, overcome certain obstacles, right? Talk about that a little bit, Mike.
And a lot of it starts with this imposter syndrome, right? Is that you've got to, I love this, and a lot of people have problems with this, that they feel like they're not an expert. They know their product, they know what they do, but they're running in the same river, going the same direction as the others, and they're not standing out. How can you stand out? Well, there's this fear. Why would somebody listen to me? Well, first off, understand this. People buy your perspective. That's what it buy. How many books do you have on leadership or marketing or financial services or whatever? You've probably got 4 or 5 of the same books. You're buying the perspective. One time, Brian Tracy told me, he says, listen, Mike, people understand that for them to be an expert, all they got to do is go read the top 5 best-selling books in the market, and now they're an expert. Why? Because nobody's going to go read the top 5 selling books in that niche. So go be that authority. And if you ever get into this, why me, or is somebody going to listen to me, as you start to position and bring out content, again, people buy your perspective. I want you to do a search. I want you to search out, you may know him. Oh man, I'm going blank.
Welcome to my world, Mike.
Yeah. Sorry. It's, oh no.
We'll get back to it.
Yeah, no, I got Richard Simmons.
There you go.
Go do a search on Richard Simmons. Okay. He's that flamboyant exercise guy, right? Yet he has no degree in physical ed. He has no degree in nutrition, yet he's made millions off of a passion of helping others. And in financial services, no different. Have a passion to teach people about money. Teach them about the rule of 72. Teach them about how an IUL works. Teach them about the things and put that content out. Teach them mindset, how to change where their mind is, pivot, and start building on their new found education, right? Those are things that are going to help people. And part of this is the authority framework that I use in helping feed the ZMont that also feeds the strategies, is putting this content out. Because when you start to put out this content and you're putting out the value and you understand, I can show you in a quick formula that when you come to the table, you're bringing multi-million dollars worth of value to the table just based off your education, how much money you spent on education, how much you've learned. Like when you add it all up, I have this whole program and the formula, you start realizing, whoa, I do have value, because people tend to not want to put that information out. They're afraid to be judged. Look, if you're over 30 and you're afraid to have somebody talk bad about you, go see a psychologist, because you're going to need it. The reality is you can't have the success without the someone talking. I've got people that talk bad about me. I look at it as a game. Like, okay,
hey,
how many?
Mike, I've never seen a statue of a critic in my life.
I'm telling you, right? Exactly. So
I've never seen it. I've
never seen it either. But it's a yin and yang, opposing forces. You can't have success without haters. That's the reality, right? But I can tell you that you'll have way more followers that love you than the haters. Absolutely. Because they have to hate, right? So the first thing is putting that content out, overcoming that imposter syndrome, create this attention, this need, this desire, this vision. And this is where you get into the head of the prospect. Once they start seeing this as they're going through the process, now they want more. So they start following you. And what happens is when you start building that knowledge, like, and trust, it starts turning to a purpose. It goes from ideas and possibilities to the heart. And they see you as an expert. They see you as the authority. Then as you're putting out there and they start to like you, this transformation starts to happen where they now want to engage with you. And this transformation goes from being in the heart to seeing you as a hero. And it's a wash, rinse, and repeat. And when you answer these 3 questions, 3 buying triggers, I don't care who you talk to, these 3 buying triggers are the same for everybody. Does your product speed up a process? Does it eliminate pain? Does it create pleasure? If you can have one of each, or 1, 2, or 1, 2, 3, and you answer those questions, the last one is, do they like you? And if you're putting content into the ZMont and you're building that value, that when you make an offer or when you come in with a product and you answer those questions, it's an easy decision to work with you. And that's where they see you as a hero.
And Mike, it rolls right into the next question. That's where the impact of your authority, right, on business growth comes in, right? So from your perspective, how does establishing oneself as the authority, you kind of touched on that there for a second, but go a little deeper for us on how the impact business growth and the client's trust and the market of competitiveness, right? Because here's my thing, and I'm talking about the financial sector, but here's my thing. I always tell people, everybody does what we do. Why do they want to talk to Dave Driggers, Mike Driggers? Why do they want to talk to Liam? Why do they want? Well, you got to be better. You got to be different. You got to have something special, right? And exactly. I think that's where we're going on the impact of authority. But tell me what your thoughts on that would be.
Well, you're right on the money, right? And I love this question. And thanks, like you're a professional here. I love this. Yeah, look, the reality is that when you follow this framework and when you follow the program, you start to become the magnet. People will become attracted to you. When that happens, here's what happens. You reduce the sales cycle. Why? Because they already like and know you. When you make an offer, let's say they become a customer, the best type of customer is what? A repeat customer. So a new product, a new offer, or the next level, they're going to be thinking of you because you're constantly filling the pond. You're constantly putting information out of value that creates that magnet, that trust, like, and knowledge. They will work with you and buy from you. You could have a higher price than anybody else out on the market, and they'll still buy from you. Why? because you've become that magnet and they trust you, like you, and love your knowledge, right? So this sets the stage to creating what I call the tribe, your authority tribe. Because your authority tribe, when you start having this, guess what happens? The best referral is somebody that's talking about you to their audience. And when you get that going, product starts flowing, deals start coming over the table because these referrals start coming in and they're at top ahead. And that's what you want, is you want your tribe to have you at top ahead, so that they're at a birthday party, a Christmas event. They say, hey, yeah, I was thinking about doing this. Oh, you need to talk to the gentleman or the woman that I'm working with, this young lady that has this amazing program about money mindset or whatever. You need to talk to them because they have got this great product. That's where you start getting that viralness. And when you start to create this, that's what happens, is you become that magnet. You reduce that sales cycle, and that tribe is out there selling for you. So now your 1 hour a day or 8 hours a day or 60 hours a week just tripled. If you had just 100 people doing an hour of conversation throughout your tribe, that's 100 hours a day on your behalf that somebody's telling your story. And that's why you want to position as the go-to authority in your niche.
Absolutely. And I think, as we, we're doing great, Mike. I mean, we're doing great on time. And I think it's the moderator. I don't know. But anyway, I digress.
He's a great guy. He's tall, dark, and handsome. Look at that guy.
There you go, man. Well, let's talk about this. Let's finish up here, and then we'll let people that have to go, and then we'll open it up for questions, and we'll add a couple more things. And I hope you'll come back. I'm having a good time.
Absolutely.
And, this is really fun. So let's talk about some actionable steps, maybe some tools. Could you provide to people that are listening? I know a lot of people are excited, but they want to start building their authority. They want to do what kind of specific tools or platforms, you recommend for people that are in this financial industry. How would they leverage it? Those type of things. I know one of the things that I always say is that everybody, it's like going to, when you leave a motivational speak, when you leave Zig Ziglar, right, man, you're ready to go. But Zig's problem was you got to have a course of action.
Yeah.
Right. You got to have a plan of action. You can't just be excited and then 2 days after you get back, you go right back to the regular way. So how can they have actionable steps and tools to get themselves to be that position of authority?
Well, I can talk about all the social platforms and marketing. I'm not going to go there because it's common sense. What I will say, it starts with mentorship. It starts with circling and being in part of a group like yours that creates a community of everybody trying to go that direction and learning from each other, right? And so you have the mentor, you have the group, and a community. The other part is, if you have not written a book or have a course, you want to start thinking about that, especially because it's an exploding industry. And what's a better offer to give somebody as a bonus or substitute income by providing education and then doing back-end sales on your financial service products? What's better? You're making a little bit of money on the front because you're helping people, you're guiding people, you're showing them how to be better, and they can be the mentor. And now you've shown them the other products and how you can help them. Perfect example. You got Susie Orman, Dave Ramsey. You've got all these guys. What do? Education, value, right? And then they bring you into the programs, and then don't think for a moment they're not doing back end sales, because they are. And so you create this empire of value for your ideal clients, who you target. And this is what opens up the door for you. So that's the next thing. So if you haven't authored a book or course, you should do something. Now, if you have got a book or course and it's longer than 6 months, you need to rebirth, because what happens is, remember what I was saying about the hungry guppies? They want more. If you're not putting out the next level or the next thing for them, they starve. And so you want to have, why? Because you're trying to build the tribe. You're having the tribe of people that are going to go out and sell for you on your program and your services. So you build this tribe. You need to rebirth. And I actually talk about this a lot, which is what I'd like to do. Is I actually have a course called Instant Authority Now that I'd like to give to your group for free. It's a $500 course that goes over what I just talked about today, goes in a little bit more detail. It talks about the rebirthing, how you rebirth, when you rebirth a new product.
How do we get that to them, Mike? How do we want to do that?
Yeah, there's a link that that if we could post, I could post in the chat, but if we could put it on the lower third, I think that I gave that
To Heather.
Heather, yes, I gave it to Heather. And I think, can I put it in here?
She'll do it. She'll take care of it. She's watching. She'll know what. And if not, we'll put it inside the replay or something. We'll make.
Oh, there it is. It's coming across the little lower thirds. That's cool. So, so yeah, join. This is a community of people that Liam belongs to, and other thought leaders that are working together to support each other, to help and learn from each other, to be able to go out there and be that authority. But you also have access to my free course. And we're going to give you, if you put in there when you sign up that Liam referred you, we're going to give you a 30-minute strategy call with some of my coaches that'll help look at where you're at, what you're doing, what you want to do. And then they're going to help create a plan on the next steps for you. So take advantage of that, because they will reach out to you, but be part of the community, be part of my community. We're putting out content in the community all the time. We're doing things. So Liam, you could talk to that. You're in the community for sure.
Yeah, well, and you know, and it is it's a variation of people, different kinds of people. Some people are some real estate people in there. I think there's some financial people. There's some doctors in there. A lot of different people that are trying to do different things, and everybody's got different ideas. And sometimes you can niche with one group maybe, and another group you just kind of listen to them, whatever, you know. But
well, the cool thing is you may learn something that they're doing in their niche, and you can say, "Whoa, I could apply something very similar to my niche."
Well,
right?
and let me tell you this: when one of the things I get out of your group, and like I said, you know, I'm one of the guys. I'm in the group, and not only that, but I'm also I hired you to help me, right? And so your biggest thing that I enjoy, and it took me a second, but you said no, you're doing what I want you to do. Twice a week, you have an open forum, and we have all kinds of people. And I listen to somebody talking about the problems they're having with their coaching, or maybe their book, and maybe I can jump in and you allow me to do that. And sometimes they help me, right? And sometimes we help each other. And that's what I like about that particular community is that, you know, when you just don't, you know, just kind of get them started, you stay with them, you know. I mean, one of the greatest things I remember, I got to do a coaching thing. I was one of the in football with Jim Trussell the year that he won the national title at Ohio State, right? And I was picked to be one of the coaches. And I remember one of the things I remembered about him was during the entire weekend, he was in the mix with all of us. He wasn't up in the air conditioned booth, you know, collecting his money. He was down there talking to the little kids, the high school kids, and I thought to myself, you know, that said a lot to me, right? He didn't have to be down there. He just won the national title, right? And so Mike Driggers has done a lot of things, and Mike could have Katie or somebody else run the show on Tuesday and Thursday. You don't have to be there, and we would respect that. But it meant a lot to me on two fronts. One of the reasons I looked at Ziegler's group, I looked at a couple other groups, Tracy's group, and I picked your group, and you know why? I picked them because you know, my biggest thing was you help us go further, right? You don't just say, here's your certificate, now you can go coach. There's other programs, and maybe you can share a teeny bit about how your stuff evolves into from you can just do this, or you can move up to scale, or maybe you want to be a motivation. That's why I brought you on, because you're going to help me, which we're already getting there. We're getting ready to explode. Am I wrong?
Nope, you're not wrong. You're right on the mark. So yeah, there's different aspects of what we do. The very first thing is we have to package and productize you so that we can monetize you, right? Second, there's a whole world in the speaking world, right, that a lot of people don't know about. And there's 5 major markets. And so we look at how we position you there. So there's that next level. There's the media. How do you get into the media? How do you sell without selling the media? How do you create interviews that you already know the answers? How do you, if somebody's a difficult person to deal with in an interview. How do you handle that? What do you wear? What angle is your best angle? Like so on. And then we talked about the 7 pyramids of media, because there's 7 layers now because of the world we live in. Media has changed. An old press release doesn't work the same as it did back then. And today it's used in a different way. But there's that program, how to run a 3-day workshop that sells high ticket offers. There's all these different things that I have been involved and participated. I started at 16 years of age, and I've been with some of the greatest minds in the world behind the scenes, creating products, marketing, running events, marketing events, hosting events, selling from back of the room, selling from the stage, right? So I've been in every aspect of the thought leader business I'm 56 now. So that gives you an idea how long I've been doing this. I've published over 33 books. I could do a book a month, easy. And I know how to get out there and position myself to attract the ideal client, the client I want to work with, the Liams of the world, the people that are hungry to be better and to step away from the tradition of what they're doing. That's who I want.
Well, and here's one of the things that I'm talking to Heather and Colleen. They're 2 of our, and Drew and Zach and all this. And listen, maybe you don't want to be the kind of coach that I am, but they do really good at teaching content, how to build groups on Facebook, and how to you can do coaching. It doesn't have to be on sales. It doesn't have to be on real estate. And I could see Heather and Colleen and Drew and Zach and all of them doing something like that. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, listen, everything starts with mindset. I don't care where you go or what you do. You go to workshops, you go to PowerPoint, they always deal with mindset. Mindset you could teach on. What's your perspective on mindset? Could you create a program to help people identify their challenges, pivot, and then reinforce the new way and go out and build a different mindset? Pretty easy.
I had a lady one time, and I think she finally understood what I was saying. I said, and I stand by this, and because I coach coaches and I train speakers, and I tell people, listen, I said, and I tell them, here's my biggest beef: 90% of speakers shouldn't be speaking. I didn't say they couldn't be. I said they shouldn't be. Now, here's what I mean by that, and I think you just hit it on the head. And how you just talked about how we could get Heather and Colleen and other people to do coaching. Take what you're good at, talk about it, and stop. You don't have to talk an hour. Me and you could go an hour, 2 hours, and we'd keep everybody's attention. Yeah. I tell people all the time, I could speak after lunch on compliance, and nobody would go to sleep. That's what I'm just saying, right? And you can do it too, right? But that doesn't mean that the guy that can't do it shouldn't be speaking. I'm just saying.
Introverts, there's a ton of opportunity for introverts if they know how to do. You don't have to be a great speaker. You just need to know your stuff that presents you as a good speaker.
Right. And I tell people there's nothing wrong with that. And the lady took it kind of negative. Well, you just ruined all my hopes and dreams. I said, no, I'm just trying to get you to pivot, like you said. And how do I get to be that person? And it doesn't mean that somewhere down the road, but me and you butt heads sometimes. I like to do 20 minutes and then go, right? And it's okay, because you're teaching me. Yeah, but you got to give them a little more substance, And I'm real good at the rah stuff, And then we got to say, okay, now we want to get them to make this thing turn into something to make it, work for everybody. And I think that one of the great things about not only is your system help people get coaching opportunities and speaking opportunities, but you also train them. Like here's what I want to finish with, because this, and I'm going to tell somebody, there's somebody out there watching that doesn't know this, but they already have a book. And here's how I did my first book. And it turned out to be the same way you're teaching me now. Years ago, I wrote a seminar called the Babe Ruth Bucket. All right. 1999, I wrote this seminar. All right. 2015, I went to Dan Sullivan's class on how to get motivated. You go for the weekend, I don't know his course, but I went to it. I spent the money, kind of like whatever all these famous guys that do it. And so I had a good weekend. I came in, and the whole thing was 50% of doing anything is getting started, right? Yep. So I went home. He said, you already have the book. I said, what do you mean? He goes, you have a seminar you've been doing for 15 years. Take that, turn it into a book. So I took the seminar and I turned it into a book. So when I met you and we started to get ready for the Closer's Edge, you said, listen, write the module and then we'll turn it into the book. You see what
Yep.
I'm saying? And so
Yep.
there's somebody out there listening that probably does seminars right now, and they don't even know it. They already have a book. Yes.
Well, absolutely. And today, Chat GPT helps speed up the process. Now, caution, this is a warning. Do not write your whole book in Chat GPT. Amazon is terminating accounts. Google is penalizing people that use Chat GPT. You use it to create ideas, structure. You get things that maybe you're stuck on that can spark the mind and help write it. I prefer, and this is the best, what Liam was saying, I teach my coaching clients and my students, let's create the course. Why? Well, because if we create the course, when you go train it, it has your mannerisms, it has you in it. But most importantly, here's what I can do with a course. First off, the PowerPoint that you just created now becomes a workshop. You could do a live 1 day, 2 day, 3 day workshop. Number two, you have a course that you can sell or give as a bonus. Number three, I can take the audio from the book and create an audio book. I take the audio, I clip it up into 2 minutes, randomly post it in an unorganized fashion, and now you have a podcast that's 2 minutes with Liam. Then I can take the same audio, transcribe it, and I make a book. So that's the fourth thing. I make a book out of it. But then I can take the same transcript, chop it up, randomly post in an unorganized fashion, and syndicate the content with associations and different blogs and other people, and have links back to my program, which everything I'm telling you feeds the Zmont. The next is that I can take and make blogs out of the content. I take the videos, I chop them up into 90-second, 30-second, randomly post in an unorganized fashion. And now I have content for TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, videos that provide the value in education. So that's why I teach from that perspective.
Well, and one of the things that and Heather does a real good job for me on this is that, we have downloadable books. So let's say you can't afford to make paperbacks and hardback copies. Well, all they got to do is download your book, and we get $8 and $10 a book for that, right?
Yep.
And so a lot of people like that. So it's not that you can't do the other, but if money's an issue and you say, well, I can't do, because I think I've got a group in Florida I'm negotiating with now, and me and you'll be talking about it too with my book, but I think for $2.32, but you got to do 3,000 books at a time, right?
Sure.
But that's still not a bad price. But then you got 6,000 books or whatever, that you got to deal with. But still,
and you know how I treat books. I don't treat books just like a regular book.
Right.
I treat it as a tool, right? And there's a specific way we go about doing that, and how. But and that becomes your business card out there in the market, where now you can build your database and your foundation and so on, the things that we do and teach our coaching clients. But again, guys, it's not so much about the money side of this. Money is important, obviously, right? We need it to survive and retire and do the things that we need to do. That's why you guys are in the game you are in. It's about the money you can use to sustain your message. The more money you make, the more your message is out there to where you can touch other people's hearts. You're doing a disservice by not publishing your perspective, by not having programs out there to help people, and then you can lead them and have the back end sales. So,
and as we finish, one of the great things and again, I can't say enough how much, we haven't been together all that long, but we're moving quick, and I can't wait till we introduce the new book that's coming out. Just finished the second Babe Ruth, working on the third one. But I know that one of the things that we're going to be trying to do for people too is that not only be in a position where they can brand with me, kind of like, it was powerful that you did something with Barbara Corcoran, right?
Yep.
And I know Brian Tracy does that, but I keep telling people, I'm telling them to use the brand. They can put their name on the book. I don't have a problem with that. I don't need it to be. And so then they have an opportunity, because they're in the system. They don't just get a book with us. They get the seminar that goes with it. Now, all of a sudden, that business card becomes even more power, because you just said, like, they can do webinars. They can do, they can do all kinds of stuff. And yeah, it's great if you have a book like, Agatha Christie and everybody wants to read it. That's not what we're doing. We're trying to help you make money and scale with what you're expert at. Yes.
Yes. And I would like to add the fact that if somebody aligns with that with you, there's this authority transfer that starts happening, this celebrity attachment, I call it, right? Where people that are out there that because of their celebrity status or where they're at, there's this transfer, this influencers, this audience wants to know who you are, what you're about. And that's how you also build part of your authorities, by aligning with other thought leaders. Standing on the shoulders of giants was one of the three that I talked about, right?
And maybe we'll co-author a book called that, Mike. That'd be awesome.
Let's do it.
If you haven't already done it. But I'm going to finish up. I'm going to let you say goodbye to everybody. I got a couple of good things that were said tonight. A couple of people were saying my brand's really cool. They love the Babe Ruth bucket. They love the different things that we're doing. Mike, I can't stress enough that I know you're busy, and I appreciate you coming on. I do appreciate the video that you let us do, because that was you 20 years ago.
Yeah,
and,
that's my speaker.
I've got to find one of me 20 years ago.
Yes.
But I'm gonna let you say goodbye to everybody. They'll close us out.
Did we want to do open or Q&A? I thought we were doing that.
I don't see any questions and answers. That's what I was saying. I'm looking, we can open it up. Let's go ahead and open it up real quick. I'll ask a couple questions.
I just want to make sure. I want to make sure that we don't.
I'm looking at the question board here. Most of it's just comments on how good looking you are.
No, is that what it is?
Well, that was your wife.
There you go.
Yeah. Wait a minute, my wife said it too. Hang on a minute.
Yeah, I think that's your wife. She was talking about you.
I'm a little aggravated that Katie didn't say nothing. Of course, she got herself in trouble earlier today.
Yeah.
She's not going to be talking. Let's see. Basically, sometimes we'll probably get a lot more on the thing.
Don't worry about it. If there's, I've done my job. There's no more questions. I did exactly what I needed to do.
Absolutely. And that's why, like I said, I don't mind going into the question time, because if they don't ask them, then it gives them more time to listen to you, and that kind of helps out. So what we'll do, Zach's going to blow us out here, say goodbye to everybody, but I'm going to let you close this out, and then stay on, and everybody will be gone, and we'll talk to you real quick, and then we'll call tonight. So go ahead and say everybody, Mike, and then Zach.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for your time. Look forward to meeting everybody.